Welcome to the Traveling Black Women's podcast. I'm
Podcast.
GypsyGenz.
And I am Nadine.
We are here to discuss our joys, our frustrations, our dislikes, and also give you guys some tips that you can walk away with.
Yes. So this is our very first episode, and we're super excited just to talk about travel because we both love traveling.
By the way, have you seen that post on Instagram that's flying around talking about loving to speak to people about something that they're passionate about because the way that they light up and their heart beats and you can just tell the excitement. This is going to be
Yeah,
us.
you know what? I have not seen that post, but that is so accurate because it's just a different energy. When someone's talking about something they don't like work, they're like, oh, they're my boss, and blah, blah, blah. And you're kind of like, all right, change the topic. But when they talk about something they love, like that is why, and I'm jumping all into the thing, but that is why I like cooking classes. Like I know some people think they're really corny, but I love cooking classes for that reason because the people that teach cooking classes in whatever country I'm in, they're always so excited to share their food. Like they want to tell you about the celebrations, they want to tell you what their grandmama did, they want to tell you like everything about their food, and they have so much joy. And I'm just like, yay, I want to eat. Like,
Give you everything but the secret recipe.
right.
They'll walk you through everything, tell you right now, close your eyes. I'm just going to put the dash of my grandma's extra and let you go away with it. I haven't actually done a cooking class, but I would love to do one because they do look really intimate,
Yeah.
really passionate. And then you get to come home and say, well, yeah, I learned how to cook or make pasta from scratch in Italy. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a whole different thing. Like the ones that I've done in Italy, I think every cooking class that I've done in Italy has been in someone's home. Like not in
Hmm.
like a big shop. Like in Morocco it was like a big situation. There was all these little burners around, like it was built out. It was a cooking school. But like in Italy, it was like somebody's house where the bathroom, you go to use the bathroom and there's a toothbrush, like, oh y'all live here, live here. Like yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And that was really neat because again, people were just like, this is great, this is exciting. Like, let me tell you about how my grandmother made it and my father did this and he used to do that and we're actually from this part of Italy. Like just in it. It's just exciting.
Definitely. And it's welcoming as well, to have complete strangers in your home, which we will be discussing a bit further down.
Yes. So I'm Nadine, going back to the beginning because I clearly jumped all the way in and started talking about, well, I love travel. But I made
It's that
it
passion.
is, it is, and it excited me for a second. Like, yeah, I love that too. But even though I have not seen that post yet, so that's the one thing. I'm an educator. I've been an educator since 2005. Moved abroad to Abu Dhabi, taught over there, came back, and was like, this sucks. This absolutely sucks. I want to continue traveling because over there it was easy to travel. So that's when I really started traveling. But I came back and I was like, this sucks. I want to continue traveling. And then I started teaching again and I was like, I don't really want to do this either. And so now I'm a consultant, still working in education, but it's not wanting to be tied to a classroom. Like travel is one of those things that starts to make you feel all free and stuff in your mind. It makes you feel all invincible. Like, you know what? I don't have to do
Mm-hmm.
this way. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have to do it that way. Like, I can create my own way. So I am now an ed consultant and the founder of the Traveling Black Women Network. Tis I.
Whoop, 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 whoop. So I am Jenny, originally from London, England. Recently moved to Toronto, Canada, roughly around a year and a half ago. I started taking traveling seriously in 2014. Then I set a goal for myself that I would travel to a minimum of four destinations each year. And somehow the travel universe decided that each year I would be able to increase my travels a bit more, go a bit further and wider. And then along the way, I decided that just how you decided teaching wasn't necessarily for you in that field. I decided London wasn't really for me in that way. So through my travels, I started to look at different places that I would be able to live. Funnily enough, Dubai, the UAE, did come up as, hot sun is what I love. But the realistic thing that I wanted was to have somewhere that was like London, but not. So here I am setting up myself literally from the start, in Toronto, Canada.
That's pretty dope. Like moving abroad is it's different. It forces you outside of your comfort zone. Like I know we're getting ready to talk about that too, but like moving abroad, it's a whole nother ball game than just going on
And
vacation.
then yours as well. It's like the UAE. That's like a completely different world, you know. Like mine is kind of like Great Britain to
Yeah,
North America. They have some similarities. I can't imagine the different
yeah.
like, you know, the differences that you would have had to adjust to living out there. For me, I mean, the time zone was probably the hardest thing before anything else. But then here we are now, you know, we've adjusted, we've kind of, I think, I don't know, I think moving abroad is something that takes a lot longer than what you think it takes to fully adjust. I don't know if you ever fully adjust, you adapt as you need to. And this will be another one of our episodes, so please do stay tuned.
It is. It will because we got to jump into everything. We got to jump into all of these different pieces. I feel like in every little friendship group or whatnot, you have the one person that travels the most. I don't know. They're the person everyone kind of looks to,
Yep,
like, when's your next trip? And, oh, I want to go. And they don't really go, and all
they
of that.
don't.
But they're not necessarily the people that you can come back and talk to about your travels just because they haven't traveled as much. Don't want to sound braggadocious, at least for me. You just don't want to
Mm-hmm.
sound like, oh, you might travel, but you still want to be
Mm-hmm.
able to connect and talk about it. So I feel like most of us as travelers, we kind of find that on Instagram, like on social media, period. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you find other people that kind of travel like you, that kind of seem like they move like you, and it's just like, look at that picture. Da, da, da. So for me, seeing your first picture, your first picture as GypsyGenz flying across a pool with the biggest grin on your face
Oh man.
and a dolphin pushing you, I was just like, this is me in a different body in a different country.
In
Because
a
that was
different
something,
country, a different time. Yep.
right?
That picture tells so many stories. And
Oh
I
my
think the
goodness.
funniest picture or the funniest story that it tells is that I can't swim. And nobody knows that I can't swim. So for anybody that's never done a dolphin push, I just have to give you a bit of a picture of how it goes, right? So you start on one side of the pool, and effective immediately you have to get to the other side of the pool in the water. So for somebody that doesn't know how to swim, I definitely can't swim to the other side of the water. Don't know how to tread water either. So they were literally talking me through how to bounce my way extremely slowly to the other side of the pool. This was fine. I was obviously going to go last because it's only fair. I got here last. You know, I don't want anybody waiting any further for me. So the instruction is to lay flat on your stomach and wait for the dolphin to push you by the soles of your feet. So again, painting the picture. I can't swim, I can't tread water, I definitely can't float. So how is this going to take place? I just knew I had to trust the beings that are the instructors. Okay, you tell me to lie flat on my stomach. I was like, how long do I have? Because I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. And as you're lying there for what feels like all of 30 seconds, it's probably 1.5. The pressure of the dolphin's noses on like literally the arch of your foot is a pressure that you've never felt unless you've done reflexology. And nobody does that. Nobody takes care of their feet. Nobody. Not even sure athletes do. So it was the excitement and the adrenaline of, oh my gosh, it actually worked. I floated long enough. And then I'm like, oh, pictures, smile, cheese. However long you could hold your cheese for, that was what that picture was doing, holding the cheese. Like, please don't get the fear of the fact that I'm about to be smacked down in the water, I can't swim, and I don't know what that picture is going to look like. So please just get this cheese as long as you can. And I would honestly advise anybody, like, I can't swim, but I don't shy away from water sports. I've done parasailing, I've done paragliding. That's not the first time I've swam with dolphins, but it is in that capacity. So the first time was in Turkey, and they had me on a like a step, and the dolphin came to me, and I was able to hold the fin, and then it pulled me around the pool and then brought me back. That was nice. But this one was very independent. 4 years into your travel game, you still don't know how to swim. What do you mean? It was amazing. I had just started my Instagram page at that point, so I had no idea about any travel pages. I was just typing in, by luck, and there we are, traveling black women with one L, of course, not two, British American. Like, oh, let me try this out. And then I can't remember how long after, but it definitely wasn't that long after because this was all in Mexico, in Cancun. I was reposted. I was like, wait, what? A big travel page like Traveling Black Women is posting little old me with less than 100 followers. Oh, I thought I'd made it in life then. I was like, yep, that's it. I'm going viral. I don't have anything else to do. The work has been done. No, guys, don't be fooled. Do not be fooled. That is not how it works. You don't go viral straight away. I'm still waiting to go viral, by the way.
Oh
But
my
it was a
goodness.
humbling experience to just be recognized
Yeah.
by the page with its title, A Traveling Black Woman. That's exactly what I am. And I don't
Yeah.
think I would have identified or categorized myself as that until being recognized by my now infamous dolphin picture. When I started this
Hmm.
page in 2019, I started it thinking I wanted to be a businesswoman. But then as I started to go further down the line, I realized no, I just want everybody to be able to see the world from
Right.
my point of view. Put out some destinations that some people wouldn't go to, or go to some destinations and do things that people would
Right.
not do. Just try, to be me, but stand out at the same
Right.
time.
That makes a lot of sense. Like I feel like that was the main reason I even started traveling black women. Starting off with the book, obviously, like having that book and putting that out there, and that kind of just being for old school, people who are not going to read a blog, they're not really going to go online, but they will get your book, or they will sit down and read something and just try to figure it out. Because when I first came back from Abu Dhabi, it was like,
Hmm.
I don't know. Everyone thought that my traveling was just so amazing. Like, oh my gosh, you've done this, you've not done that. And it was pretty cool. And I don't never want to downplay it, but I just kind of felt
Hmm.
like, y'all know y'all can travel too, right? Like,
Hmm.
y'all know y'all can get on the
Hmm.
same plane and go somewhere too, right?
Yeah.
And it was crazy because, like, it just really didn't. It was just something you
Ah.
didn't do. Like even the stuff that I did, skydiving, whatever else. People were very quick to say that's white people shit. And I'm like, no, it's not. Fun shit. It's a everybody shit. It's
It's
fun.
everybody. It's everybody. You just got to do the
Yeah,
research. And this is the thing, right? Like, we're doing this now to show people
yeah,
that everybody and anybody can do it. Don't let there be a status on
right,
when you can do it or how to do it. Make it
right. And us
yours.
doing it is what debunks everything that people think about who black
Mm-hmm.
people are, black women are, black Americans, black British, like who they think they are. It's like, okay, well, now someone's standing in front of me that looks like this. Is everything that I thought true? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, is everything that I thought about
Hmm.
what this person or this type of person would be like true? Like, now I have to really sit here and challenge my own thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's what presence does. So, our presence in those places, in different places, does exactly that. Like,
Exactly. And by far, I mean, I think just this is just the way the world is. In a lot of places, we're going to be outnumbered.
yeah,
But again, that don't deter that,
right,
because you making that step and you go into said
right,
destination makes other people like us, black women, solo women, group women, black people know that it is possible for them to do it as well.
right, right. I would agree.
The education part of it is important,
Hmm.
to kind of, like you say, just stay relevant, stay current, stay present, stay active. Letting that, we have to really remove the fact that we as black people can't do and be everywhere.
Right. Doing every possible thing. We adapt so well.
We be doing it better. We be doing it better.
Right. That's so true.
We be doing it much better. Try me.
So, what would you say is the best part about traveling? Like, what do you think?
I feel like travel has a way of bringing people together. whether that's internationally or nationally. Like travel
Okay.
doesn't
Yeah.
always have to be getting on a plane. I did a
Yeah.
road trip, like solo driving to New York from Toronto. That was around 10 hours. And I know that I could fly. I've done it before. But I also know that when I have to stop for gas, that means I have to get out of the car and I have to go and speak to somebody, ask them a question or two. They might have a question for me. And lo and behold, you're now having a conversation of, oh, you're driving by yourself. What brought you here? It brings people that wouldn't necessarily be in the same places at the same time together. Like me posting that picture, I was in Mexico at the time. I didn't even know where in the
Yeah.
world you were, but I was traveling. You were probably traveling too. And just by posting that picture, it's brought us together here now, 4 years later.
Yeah.
I've gone on many
Yeah.
solo trips where the expectation is that you meet people, but you
Mhm.
also don't have to do that.
Right.
You don't have to go
Right.
there and come away with 5 friends or 10 lifelong friends and, oh my days, I've just met, the best people. But don't go there and not speak to people, because that will not bring you out of your comfort zone. That might not give you the same level of desire to continue to realize that travel does bring people together. I can take something from this person in this country, and I can take something
Yeah.
from this person in this city. I can take something from a zookeeper if I really wanted to, It's just about being open minded. Like, honestly, you
Right.
have to be open minded. So I think I would say a joy of mine is that travel really does bring people together.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that.
What would you say one of your joys are?
Being able to see that stuff could just be different. That's like kind of what I was saying in the beginning when I was like, the more I traveled, even coming back home and traveling, the more I
Mm,
realized I don't have to do this. I don't have to be locked to this classroom, frustrated every other day. You know, I can
mm,
actually make something else work for myself. And then here I am, 2 contracts into education later. So it's like, okay. But I think that's part
mm-hmm,
of what travel does. It makes you rethink things. It makes you look at things differently, makes you look at yourself differently,
mm-hmm.
what's possible differently. Um, and then it debunks everything that it makes you harder to I can't get my words out. It makes you harder to manipulate because when you
Mm-hmm.
think about the way the media is set up today, when you think about like how people, they could put something on Instagram or even the news, whatever, and say XYZ about this place or
Mm-hmm.
that place or this person or that person. And naturally, you believe it because it seems mainstream, right? People are commenting on it, it's here in your face, like it's in black and white, it's in print. So you're thinking, well, this has to be what it is. But one thing traveling does is it really makes you like look at stuff like that,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to countries and people and cultures, and be like, I don't know if that's the whole story. Like
Yeah.
you really
There
start to
has to
start
be a
thinking.
different side. Yeah.
Right. And then you got the cocky people who are going to come out. Well, I went to Jamaica 2 years ago and they did not smoke ganja while I was there. Then you got those kind of people, of course.
Yes.
But
Yes.
for the most part, you get that feeling of I've been there. I hear this person saying XYZ about that place. It's not true. I've been there
Yeah.
myself, or it is true, but to a certain extent. And now when someone else is talking about somewhere that you have not been, you can be more critical. Like, I
Yes.
hear what you're saying, but I might have to go see that for myself.
Right. The
You
last time
know?
I heard this, my experience was completely different to
Right.
what you're saying. So maybe I should
Right.
just go check it out myself. Yep.
Right. So it ups the critical thinking abilities. Like there's a lot of people, too many people that just follow. Somebody says that the sky is I don't know, green today, and everybody's posting it on their social media, and they're taking pictures,
Mm-hmm.
talking about, yeah, I saw the green, and it's like, no,
You
it's a
didn't.
filter. Like, it's like everybody's so ready to jump on a bandwagon and say, me too, I did it, I saw it. And it's just, no level of deeper thought. And I think travel forces you to
Yeah.
do that, especially solo travel. But it forces you to do that.
Yeah.
It definitely forces you to do that. So that would be
No,
my
I
thing.
agree. I think again, it goes based on like to really be able to broaden it, you have to go open minded.
Yeah.
So you have to forget what you heard or what you read or what you were told.
Mhm.
That doesn't mean not to be aware.
Right.
You have to be aware, even where you live.
Mhm.
You step out of your house, you're aware. So you don't lose that when you travel,
Right.
but you should be more open minded. It's like when people make jokes about people traveling and only wanting to eat chicken and chips. It's like, okay, some of us have allergies. Does some of us being me? Just saying. But there's this new cool thing that I've seen two trends that I've
Mhm.
seen. One is to taste the Coke wherever they go
Oh.
and rate it best to where they're from. So if that was me, for example, it would be me trying to remember what London's Coke tastes like and then go to Italy and go to Portugal and go to Jamaica and go to Mexico and taste their Coke and rate it out of 10.
Yeah.
And then the other one, which I definitely cannot get down with because I don't eat there, is McDonald's. Going to different McDonald's and looking at their menus because I have noticed, even though I don't eat there, some of the menus really are
Yeah.
different. Like they've got a whole different
Yeah.
breakfast menu, a whole different like chicken nuggets, chicken tenders. I'm like, wow, all of this in McDonald's. So those are the two main trends that I've seen right now that are, I would still say, is broadening your horizon because you're trying to taste something that is a staple everywhere, but you realize, oh no, the sugar level and salt levels be different elsewhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My allergies only pop in here.
Oh.
I can't eat shrimp at all in America. Like anywhere I go, unless I haven't tried Maine and their shellfish, but everywhere I go, it's like I eat shrimp, and that only happened within the last few years. And I'll start to itch. I'll break
Really?
out. If I eat too much, I'll get nauseous, and I can go anywhere in the world other than here, and eat a plate full of garlic shrimp. And that's the first thing I do everywhere. Like, what?
Oh, I
Prawns?
don't.
Garlic prawns? Yes, please. Bring it out.
I'd be missing out, you see? And then think about it like this, right? Again, just by going on perspective. Oh, you could eat prawns everywhere, but you actually can't.
Right.
So
Right.
nobody should judge that the fact that you're eating a basic food in another country. No, this is not basic to me. This is holiday food and I can only eat it when I'm on vacation.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Because it is something to be said for being able to go into another country, see something familiar, still try it, and make that different comparison. That's still an experience. And that's something else that's like, okay, as more of us start to travel, you don't want people to feel like because I'm not traveling like this, big
Yes.
and fancy and all of this kind of stuff and big fancy restaurants that I can't get the experience that works for me. Because at the end of the day, we want people to get out there, and it's almost like if that is the small
Yeah.
transitional, can't get that word out, transitional piece that allows you to just be like, let me go try this, let me get out this country. If all else fails, there's a KFC,
Yep.
that kind of thing. Then hey, it at least got you to put one little toe outside that comfort zone. I mean, you don't have to go and
Exactly.
eat
Yeah.
ostrich meat in Kenya, but which is actually pretty good, let me say.
Yeah. Exactly. Or crocodile or anything like that, right? We're not asking you to do that kind of adventurous stuff if it's too far out of your comfort zone. Because the next thing is you don't want to do that and then waste your money.
That is
So, and then
true.
still be hungry. That
Right.
is very disappointing. There's nothing worse than trying to order something that is out of your comfort zone and you don't like it and you're still hungry. There is no time for that.
No, I
And
definitely feel
mentioning
that.
KFC off the bat, I'm sorry, Fossa Land in Trinidad, that is first to KFC. That I don't eat KFC anywhere else.
But
There's
Trinidad.
this battle between no, like, well, not here. I'm not eating KFC in Canada or Toronto. I'm not eating KFC in London. I'm just not.
Yeah.
To go home, if I'm in Jamaica, we're going to KFC.
Yeah.
if I'm in Trinidad, we're going to KFC. It's just a different
I mean,
type
even
of chicken.
Dubai, like, look how everybody bought
Yeah.
the KFC to the yacht party, and Keisha left with a bucket in her hand.
So some foods that are staple, they really do look different elsewhere. And for me personally, that I still put that in the category of bordering your horizon,
Right.
because you've seen something that you think is familiar, that feels familiar, but when you go there, it's
It's
actually
still
not
not.
as
Yeah.
familiar. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. That's a great point. Okay. So frustration.
So
Yes.
the
Yes.
negative, or if we want to, what would you say is I guess a pet peeve, a dislike, or like a general frustration about
Ah,
travel?
it has to be the legit, the actual, like, so on the one end, I do like boarding the plane, sitting in my seat, finding my movie, putting my seat back, waiting for them to come around and ask me for a snack. I do like that part. But I feel like that
Mm-hmm.
part is when everything has just, ah, everything is settled. But the logistics, I don't
Mm-hmm.
always like the logistics. I don't always like going through TSA and not knowing if they're going to talk to you any kind of way or not. Or if somebody's going to show up and today is their day to be, employee of the week. Like, I'm here and I'm checking everything. Or the person who's going to show up and just be like, I'm still going to get paid on Friday. You can go ahead with your lotion. I don't care. Like you just don't know who you're going to expect.
Mm-hmm.
And that actually brings me a little bit of anxiety because then I'm thinking, what do I have that I'm going to have to either
Yes.
A, negotiate, B, throw away, or C, be mad at somebody for taking from me? Like, what's going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
Newark Airport is good for that. Let me just put that out there.
Oh,
But,
not my new departing
but
airport.
yeah, I think that can be frustrating. Getting to your gate and then having the same anxiety with gate agents. Are they going to be rude? Are other people going to be acting up? Like, is there going to be a delay? If there's not a delay, what's going on? Are people standing up because their boarding zone has been called, or are they standing up because they're standing up and they just want to stand here and they're in my way? Like, there's just so many moving parts to traveling, to the actual like part
Mm-hmm.
of traveling, that sometimes I
Mm-hmm.
just get really frustrated. I've never gotten frustrated to the point where I don't want to do it anymore. Not even by airline, like even with airlines, doing what they do,
Of
I
course.
still have never gotten to a point where I'm just like, I'm never getting on that airline again because if they have a sale, I'm
Mm-hmm.
booking it. No, I'm just booking it. But sometimes just dealing with the amount of people and the ways that people who are in charge have to kind of like, kind of run everybody through like cattle, and the way people just behave, like everybody wants to be the only person in the room that has an issue. All of that kind of stuff, it becomes a lot. It becomes a lot. I would say that would be the my
Mm-hmm.
biggest pet peeve with travel. Otherwise, once I get to that seat, I sit down, I ask for my little headphones.
You're
I'm all
good to
right.
go. The funniest thing about the logistics for me is just to go off the bat of what you said, it's the missing part on the paper. The flight time is 15:10, but you're
Hmm.
awake from somewhat what 7 in the morning, double checking that you have everything. The passport being the main thing, but everything else is as important. Double checking you have
Right.
that, your journey to the airport, whether that's by transport or Uber or you're driving, you get to the airport. For me, my new thing is, I know our listeners don't know, Nadine is definitely team carry on. I'm trying to get to that point. I've got a big holiday coming, and I'm just like, there's no way anybody expects me to do this kind of trip on a carry on. It just can't happen. But
You could do it.
my new anxiety is not having full understanding or full capacity of the tight restrictions with certain airports and their measurements of my carry-on. One airline is okay with
Oh,
my
okay.
suitcase with wheels and a backpack that might be a bit overpacked but still within the personal item region. And then
Hmm.
others, I have like it's the XL Longchamp handbag, which counts as a personal item, but I technically know I can't bring both.
Hmm.
But that bag doesn't match your requirements, but it's a bag. So it means it can fold, it can push under the seat. So that brings me anxiety traveling with that, because I'm
Right.
like, oh man, is it going to be the agent that's going to tell me this is 12 centimeters over what you're allowed, and you have to check it in. It's like,
Right.
no, sorry, sir, it has everything I need. I can't afford to check this in because if you lose it, I have absolutely
Nothing.
nothing.
Yes. You know, when we were going to Switzerland for Christmas, me and my mom, we got through security and everything, checked in at the front desk. We didn't even check in online. She came through with her roller bag, and right when we get to the gate, they're like, "Oh, no roller bag. Please come and check in this little thing."
What?
So we had to go and put it in the little holder or whatnot. And
Yeah, the measurement
yeah,
thing.
and it didn't fit, of course. You know, it was a really tight holder, probably the size of about a Spirit or a Frontier flight, which surprised me because it's Swiss Air. So I go to the
Mm-hmm.
lady and I let her know, like, hey, this is my mom's bag. Like, she has things in it that she needs. She's not gonna be able to check this. And she's like, well, I don't know what to tell you, but it's not even gonna fit on the plane. So we got on the plane. So they ended up checking it. She took some stuff out. She used her bag. They ended up checking it. And then we get on the plane, and sure enough, they've got some really tiny compartments. So I'm like, all right, fair
Mm-hmm.
enough. But then on our way back, she checks her bag. She just goes ahead and puts everything in it, separates her stuff. She has her bag. We get there. Of course, I have my backpack, so I check my other bag. She checks both her bags or whatnot. We get on the airplane, and the compartments are about as big as a closet. And
Oh
like everyone is
wow.
on there with their huge roller bags. So it's like, but same airline, same exact airline. And now she didn't
See?
mind. She was kind of like, hey, I don't have a bag to roll around, so that's fine. But at the same time, it was like, no
Mm-hmm.
way. How do you even know this? And the thing is, you can find out ahead of time, like when you book, it does show Airbus A471 and all that kind of stuff. But they change it on you. They
Yeah.
change it on you last minute sometimes. So sometimes I just don't pay attention to
Yeah.
that. But I'm like, now I'm gonna have to start paying attention because that
Yep.
was foolish.
And this is my thing. Like I've, tried to, I mean, to be fair to myself, none of the trips that I've done recently require a checked bag. Dubai, probably, I mean, previous me would have done a checked bag because it would have just been convenient to have. I don't ever travel with one suitcase, by the way. A second one is needed simply because if it gets lost, I need to have backup. So if I have a checked bag, 100% I need to have my wheelie or my handbag full of 4 days worth of clothes at minimum. But my suitcase, I already know, my carry on suitcase, I already know just by going off the description that you gave there, I know it wouldn't fit on the plane. And that would give me great anxiety to know that I have to let go of the only thing that I've packed
Yeah.
at the very last minute to guarantee it's going to go on this plane. Air tags are becoming a new thing that we're trying to educate our travelers on to get
Mm.
one. But if you're traveling with a carry on, you're not going to think, oh, let me bring the air tag in case.
Yeah.
Unless you have a bad experience, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, got to bring the air tag everywhere because just in case. So, off the bat of your gripe with traveling, mine is just not knowing why there can't be a consistent measurement for the carry on bag
Right.
or
Right. I
suitcase.
feel that.
Do people actually ask this? Never in my travel career has anybody had the audacity to ask me, can they
You
sit
must
at
not have looked
my window
approachable.
seat? I'm glad if that's the case. Do you know what? Unfortunately, I wish that was the case, but going based on how I used to work, like people would always scope me out to come and ask me questions. But I can gladly say nobody's ever asked me. I would politely be declining because I've come to realize in this more recent life I don't know what I would ever have to do if I could not fly out the window.
Okay.
I never want to have to experience not getting the window
So
seat.
you've always sat in the window
At
seat.
first,
Oh
always,
wow.
always, from I was a child. There's only been one flight, and funnily enough, it was going to Cancun, Mexico, which was destination 30. That's the only flight I've ever had to sit in the aisle seat,
Oh
and it
wow.
gives me great anxiety. I do not get up. I don't care how long the flight is. From I've sat down, I'm not getting up until the middle and aisle person are going to get up. So if they both decide they'll get up at the same time, then I'll take that opportunity to stretch my legs. Other than that, you don't need to worry about me because I'm gonna just be looking outside the window or watching a movie or trying to catch a
Oh
nap. So
wow.
that's why I don't want to sit anywhere else, because I know I don't need to get up, and I don't want to have to get up because you need to get up. Why did you not choose the seat? No,
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 fair
I'm
enough.
not.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I've sat everywhere. Now I prefer the window
Mm,
seat, but I've sat everywhere.
even in the middle?
Even in the middle of
Oh,
strangers.
God.
Yes.
No way. That's becoming a new anxiety of mine as well, actually, which I recently discovered. I'm getting on the plane, and you think you're good, and then I start seeing all these people walking towards. I'm like, oh God, I hope they're not sitting next to me. Oh gosh, I hope it's not them. Oh no, not the crying child. And then I always seem to kind of get away with being able to sit next to somebody that doesn't necessarily want to talk. My flying experiences with people, anyway, fingers crossed, have been fine. My main frustration with traveling is the financial restriction. I feel that everybody who is anybody that has traveled has
Hmm.
probably not been able to go somewhere that they wanted to first time because of the price of it. And that I hate, simply because I think that there should always be a way around it. I think there should always be, where there's a will, there's a way. This new thing of mine as well is doing a layover. I never used to do
Yeah.
layovers, but traveling from Toronto, just any advice to anybody,
Yeah.
traveling from Toronto is not as easy and as pretty as it looks online. This city is
Thanks to Drake.
ridiculous. I know. And I think it's probably him. It's probably him that's making this city so expensive to fly from. To fly to, I don't think it's that expensive, but flying out of here, even for me to go
Hmm.
across the border, you guys in America have got, probably, I don't know if some Americans know how lucky you are to be able to go cross state for something like 100 or less US dollars. For me to get to New York, which is an hour and a half maximum on a flight, I don't think I've ever done it at the full 90 minutes just yet. In US dollars, it's costing around 220 US dollars for an hour and a half flight, which is roughly around 300 Canadian for an hour and a half. You don't mean that. It
Sheesh.
doesn't need to
Yeah.
cost this much.
And are there no discount airlines in Canada? That seems like
I
a
mean, we
silly
have
question.
Flair.
Flair?
Nah, we have Flair, which
Hmm.
I think counts as discount. But
But they're
again,
not
remember, these
international.
airlines don't,
Okay.
yeah, they don't necessarily go even across the border for me to go worldwide, for example.
I wonder why that is. Because I feel like it's so cheap to get to flying to Cancun from like Miami, for example. Or
Right.
it's right there. And I would think Toronto and New York are right
They
there.
literally are neighbors. The fact that I could drive to Buffalo in like 4 hours is already showing how
Yeah.
close it is. So that financial restriction is something that I've had to relearn here, because I didn't feel restricted living in the UK. I felt like
Yeah.
there was a lot more accessible than what I even had knowledge of until I moved here.
Right.
Some of my
Right.
first travels were like various different cities in Spain. I've been to
Hmm.
Italy once. I didn't really do Europe because I wanted to see more of the world. So that would be, if I had
Hmm.
any advice for financial restrictions, it would just be to be realistic in terms of where you want to go and how long it's going to take you to put that money
Hmm.
aside, because needless to say, it's going to be worth it.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. Because I think one of the things that holds people back is that financial scare. Like,
Hmm.
okay, what is this going to cost me? It's the not knowing how much it's going to cost you to get there, flight and accommodations, and then what is that ratio
Hmm.
like when you actually do get there?
When you're there, Iceland, though, I think Iceland doesn't, I've never been, by the way, but I think it doesn't take that much research on any platform to just know that it's expensive in every currency.
That was my first solo trip. So I paid about $35 for a burger, fries, and a beer. meet me at the hot dog cart. What? Yes. And this was at a, now granted, this was at the bar that was across the street. So it wasn't like a fast food place. It was at a bar. So, you know, I was kind of like, oh, okay, let me go in here and have a little burger and
Wow.
fries and
I've seen people talk about like KFC being something like £10. I'm like,
man,
what? Or bread being like seven
man.
pounds. I'm like, wait, what? Why are we paying this much for regular
I
shop
was like,
supermarket
yeah,
staples? So you don't want me to have breakfast? Hot dogs at 17
yeah.
US. I'm like, whoa.
I mean, if you like hot dogs, you'll be all right because for the most part they have it's different. It's not like the average like oh I'm going down the street
Oh.
or you know a ballpark Frank in New York, but it was light. I felt like the meat was light. It wasn't like heavy, and it was simple. Like I just went to the cart that was outside of my hotel, got my little sauce and all that kind of stuff, and it held me over for a good few hours. So I was like, this is gonna be my lunch every day,
Yeah,
every
and
day.
you know what? It's funny you saying that is one of those. It's a financial restriction. I'm like, oh, maybe I won't ever be able to go to Iceland, not from here anytime soon, because I have to budget. Pork or beef?
Um, you know what? I don't know.
See, now that's the only thing in this life. The only thing is, whenever I think about hot dog, I just think pork, and I don't eat it. So I would love to hope that it wouldn't
Oh,
be that because that's my lunch gone out the
yeah.
window.
Oh
I could eat
no.
the bread.
Okay. I'm not
I
sure.
wonder how much the bun
I'm not
costs.
sure.
Can I get just the hot dog bun?
That's so crazy. I never even think about it. I'm just like, oh, that looks good.
See, and that goes again back to like dietary,
Right.
dietary requirements, allergies. Like there are things that people do have to factor in before they
Right.
do. Like I'm allergic to apples. People always trying to give me a drink. I just want to know what's in it. Oh, just drink it. I'm allergic to apples, so I can't just
Yeah.
drink it because I might just have a reaction. So could you just tell me?
And you know, you take that for
Yep.
granted. You really take that for granted because, like I said, I don't think twice. Hot dog, sure. Oh, it's a fancy sauce with it too. Oh, put that on there. Let's try that. Like I don't care. You know, I'm not thinking about it at all. You know, and I think that's the other thing with
Hmm.
travel that having to make sure you're aware of first the things that you
Yep.
need that are available, you know. And I think some of us we don't consider the fact that there's going to be things that people just can't do or eat or be around,
You
you know.
can't.
And
Yep.
those things are important, especially when you're planning for groups, especially when you know all of that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Because I would have never thought about that. I'd have been like, "There's hot dogs in the cart, girl. You'll be all right." And then you get there, and it's like, "These are
Yeah, you'll be
pork."
fine. No, they're all pork. I walked down the whole street and every one of them is pork. You didn't tell me this, but again, and this is the thing I always say: as much as it is the establishment's
Hmm.
responsibility, I always say it's down to the allergen. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. We are fully responsible for the questions that we are
yeah,
supposed to ask. So when you tell me secret sauce, I'm sorry, but what's the secret? Because I'm allergic to
yeah,
nuts. So if you have crushed walnuts or crushed pistachios in your nuts, I need to be
yeah.
aware. I'm not just going to take secret sauce and be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to eat that. Maybe the secret sauce is gherkin water. No, I need to know I need to know to the
What
T
the secret is?
what is
No, that
in
makes
it.
perfect sense.
Yeah. And it can be quite stressful, which is why I bring it back to one of the first points, don't look down on the people that choose chicken and chips because it's
Right,
easy,
right,
or chicken and fries. It's easy,
right.
it's relative, it's what they know.
And what's easy for me is not easy for
Right.
you.
Yeah, I know what you
Hmm.
mean. And that's the funny thing that sometimes I do have to be honest. Sometimes if it is being said
Hmm.
repetitively, kind of like world nationwide, do your research to find out like, is this true? Like we just, based on
Hmm.
Iceland, is it as expensive? Based on
Yeah,
Italy, are people's
yeah,
experiences pretty much the same common, or was that just a personal one? Like we have to, I think, if there's again any kind of advice that I would give anybody with travel, like just be comfortable with doing your own research. Take what everybody is saying, but find out if that's actually what it is for yourself before you go there if you can.
yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense because if you're a label whore type of person where it has to be the top of the line coach and the newest iPhone and I don't know, the whatever, Balenciagas, whatever high expensive name.
Yeah. This how you know labels are not our thing because we be struggling here to name them.
Right, cause I'm over here like, what balance? Like, take me on a
hmm
trip.
Well, guys, this was our first episode, and this was an enjoyable one. I'm looking forward to the rest to come.
Yes, yes, this is a great start. Us just rambling as usual, talking about what we love, travel.
Literally, can't get enough of talking about it. So many gems to drop, like not just from us, but for us to pick up, for us to learn, for us
Yeah,
to teach.
yeah, lots of things to share. And the thing about it that I love and that I'm going to love is that we have two completely different vantage points while having the same vantage point, right? So we have the lens as Black
Yes.
women, traveling Black women, but then it's like, what is it like for you being from the UK and then now being in London, and then what is it like for me from the US, and all of that different stuff, and just feeling like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a good opportunity to just see what the Black experience is like from different angles. I feel like we have so many similarities and
Mm-hmm.
differences at the same time,
Yeah.
and they all complement each other. So it's like, oh
Agreed.
wow,
Agreed.
I'm like, you're like the British
I
version of
and
me.
honestly, I felt that when before we met, I felt like, yeah, this is me in a different world. Like I look at your smile and I'm like, well, I didn't used to smile like that, but this is how I smile now. That's me. Like honestly, it's like a mirror, and it's funny
Yeah.
that when there's like you've got your twin out there in the world. I'm like, I wonder if it's just a twin. It has to be more of people like us. They can't just be us. Like us is not enough to share with the world. There has to be like another
Right.
50 people at the bare minimum. Just literally just living our best lives through whatever that means, just being our authentic selves, laughing and joking at everything and nothing,
Yeah.
finishing each other's sentences like, wait, you was
Right.
thinking that too? Oh, okay. You're discovering a new safe space that, oh, maybe my thoughts are not as weird as I thought they were. Other people be thinking
Right.
like me
And that's
too.
always good.
Yes, it is. Honestly, I'm
That's
tired
always
of feeling like
refreshing.
I'm the only one in this box. Like, oh, there's space for more. Great. Come on
Yes.
in.
I love it. I love it.
Well, we will be leaving you with a final inspiration. This is an African proverb or proverb, whichever way you choose to pronounce it. We are now saying if you want to go fast, go alone. And if you want to go far, go together. Until the next episode.
See ya.
Peace out. A-Town down.
I love it.